Have you ever finally felt happy in a relationship and then suddenly felt the urge to distance yourself? If you tend to withdraw right when things start going well, it's not random. It's psychological. You may notice it happens almost quietly. Things are calm, maybe even good. You're laughing more. You feel understood. There's consistency. And instead of relaxing into it, something inside you tightens. A small voice says, "Don't get too comfortable," or "This won't last." And before you fully realize what's happening, you begin to create space. Sometimes it looks subtle. You take longer to reply to messages. You start focusing on their small imperfections. You feel irritated by things that didn't bother you before, or you tell yourself you just need space, even though nothing is actually wrong. And that's the confusing part. Nothing is wrong. From a psychological perspective, this pattern is often rooted in avoidant attachment dynamics and fear of vulnerability. If you grew up in an environment where closeness felt unpredictable, where love was inconsistent, withdrawn, or followed by criticism, your nervous system may have learned something very specific. Connection equals risk. Children are incredibly adaptive. If warmth was sometimes followed by emotional withdrawal, anger, or abandonment, the brain makes an association. It says, when things feel good, prepare for the fall. Over time, this becomes automatic. Not conscious, not deliberate, just a quiet reflex. There's also something called the upper limit problem, a term used to describe the discomfort people feel when life feels too good. Some individuals carry an unconscious belief that happiness has a ceiling, that if they go beyond it, something will correct it. So when joy or intimacy deepens, anxiety rises instead of peace. You might not think of yourself as someone who fears happiness. In fact, you may deeply crave closeness, and that's what makes this pattern so painful. There's often a real longing for connection, but when intimacy increases, so does vulnerability. And vulnerability, for someone whose early experiences were emotionally unsafe, can feel like standing unprotected in a storm. Over time, your nervous system becomes hyper-alert to shifts. A delayed text feels significant. A small change in tone feels threatening. Your brain begins scanning for proof that this good thing will disappear. And sometimes, without realizing it, you create the distance yourself, because at least then, you are in control of the ending. Control is a powerful comfort, even if it costs you something. In adulthood, this can look like a cycle. You feel drawn to someone. You open up slowly. They respond warmly. Things deepen. And then, you pull back. You might rationalize it. Maybe they're not right for me. Maybe I rushed. Maybe I just value independence. And sometimes those things are true. But often, beneath the surface, there's a quieter fear. If I let this matter too much, it could hurt too much. Sometimes you may not even realize you're doing it until much later. You look back and see a pattern, relationships that ended right when they became serious, opportunities you stepped away from once they felt promising, moments of happiness you diluted with doubt. It's important to understand this isn't self-sabotage in the dramatic sense. It's protection. Your brain is trying to keep you safe from a pain it once experienced. And yet, the strategy that once protected you may now be limiting you. There's also an emotional paradox here. People who pull away when things get good are often deeply sensitive. They feel deeply, they attach deeply, which means loss would hurt deeply. So distancing becomes a preemptive measure. But often, this pattern creates the very loneliness you were trying to avoid. Others may perceive you as independent, maybe even emotionally unavailable. They may not see the internal battle, the push and pull happening quietly inside you, the part that wants to lean in, and the part that whispers, "Careful." Over time, living this way can be exhausting, always calibrating closeness, always measuring emotional exposure. It can create a sense of isolation even within relationships, because a part of you is never fully there. And sometimes, the most painful realization isn't that someone left you. It's recognizing the moments you left first. If this resonates with you, it doesn't mean you're incapable of intimacy. It means your nervous system learned caution very well. It learned it for a reason. But you may notice now that the danger isn't always present, even though your body reacts as if it is.